everyone, welcome to Grow Your Future with Luxland. I'm Zah, the CEO of Luxland Investments. And who do we have here today?
My name is Mark.
And my name is Jade.
Welcome, guys.
And we're the Brady Bunch.
Hey, guys.
How are we today? Good?
Good after the long weekend. Everyone's pumped full of chocolate. Ready to go.
Yeah, it was a cherry ripe that you left on the desk.
I'm chocolate banned now. Like I've turned into a caramello koala. Actually starting to look like one. So I have to...
It's very nice.
Yeah, I'm back on the shred train.
So, guys, today we're going to talk about business versus a job. So whether it's better to own your own business or be in a steady income, stable income job. I've got a couple of articles which we can relate to today. These articles are actually in reference to why a job is better than owning your own business. Now, I thought it would be a good little contrast to have with you guys being entrepreneurs and whatnot. Jay, you've also got experience in the corporate world. Yeah, so you've probably got the best experience and to compare the two, I would find. So to start us off, a job is more secure, obviously, but what are your thoughts on that, Zah?
Well, let's just take it back a step, right, and talk to our audience, because they're probably thinking, why are these guys talking about business versus job? And I think our audience is probably spread up, evenly amongst the two. And a lot of people who are working tend to look at owning a business. It's always the grass is greener on the other side. So people who are employees always look at, if I owned my own business, I'd be my own boss. And then people who own businesses envy those who have jobs where they can go to work, do their hours, drop everything at the end of the day, and then, and that's it. They don't really take it home. And I guess, I've been in business for myself for 10 years now, and a lot of people envy it. People talk to me all the time and say, "Oh, how do you do it? I want to be in your position." But there are days where I think I'd love to just have a job and just don't have that responsibility of having to look after employees and paying my own tax, and there are so many responsibilities that come with owning a business. So I guess today's podcast, what we want to do is, discuss the benefits and the negatives, and the pros and cons of having a business, and also with having a job as well, because I believe that there are good things and bad things for both. I think our listeners will take a lot away from this, because we've got a great dynamic here where,
definitely.
Both of you guys have jobs, and we're all involved in business as well. Property investing is a business, and that's what we encourage people to become, property entrepreneurs. So I believe you can get the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
I agree, and I think just backing up what Zah's just said, for all our listeners out there, it's kind of what we do here essentially is we are educating people to become property entrepreneurs. So, but also have the best of both worlds, really.
Yep.
So becoming a property entrepreneur is running your own business and creating wealth for yourself on that side, but then also being able to service that need and that, service the loans, I guess, for mortgages, and by having your own job as well. But I've certainly lived through both, and I certainly take a lot of benefits away from both as well. I'm not sitting on one side of the fence going, corporate sucks, and I don't like corporate, and, I'm not that kind of trash talker with corporate. But then also on the other side, business is hard, but I can't think of anything more rewarding than having your own business. So unless you live both worlds, you can't really sit there and judge.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I'd hate to be in business for myself, or, I'd hate to work in the corporate world. It's not, people are different, and it's not for everyone. Corporate's not for everyone. Entrepreneurship is definitely not for everyone.
I don't know. I think that statement is quite, not just broad, but I think it's not right either. A job is more secure. Well, how's that so? You still have to perform at a job. It's not like you rock up and you're guaranteed that work, because, okay, let's say you're a an EA, for example. Yeah, okay, you're there to service someone and whatnot. But what if that person gets fired? What if the company crops that CEO or whatever? Like, who's to say you've got a job?
I think you'll still have a job. Like, I think in terms of
this is coming from the HR specialist. You know, you can never get fired.
You just dabbled in the wrong field.
Well, I'm just going to leave.
So you'll never not have a job if so that person gets fired. Australian employment law and legislation is extremely protective. So I'm just going to jump straight into what I was thinking about saying this evening. And in this country that we are in, it is a very lucrative country to be an employee in any business. So we are extremely protected by strict legislation in this country, and as opposed to another country like the United States, which is incredibly poor in that regard. It's very easy to own a business. It's very easy to get rid of your employees. In Australia, we are so protected as employees. You guarantee it's very hard to get rid of an employee, that's for sure. But for a business, it's difficult, isn't it, to make money, in the Australian landscape. So it's more about when you just said before, sometimes it's easier if you're an employee or if you get fired. I think from a personal perspective, if you're not developing and you're not putting yourself in, backing yourself up against a corner and putting yourself under distress, if you're in a comfortable position, how is that beneficial to you?
Yeah, that's right.
I think I agree with what Mark was saying before, where you're saying, there is an element of risk as well when you're a new employee. You know, you still have to perform, and we always talk about adopting the entrepreneurial mindset, and you say it quite a bit as well, where you need to treat yourself like a business. You are the CEO of your own life. So when you go to work and work for someone, you're investing your time for money, right? A lot of people say, I just go to work and, I'm just an employee, but not really, because you're investing your time, which is your capital. It's human capital, right?
Correct, yep.
You're investing your time to get a return on that investment. Right, and whatever your return is, could be $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year, including bonuses, whatever it is. So, if you don't perform, right, you don't get that return on investment. Like you might get fired, or the opportunity cost of not getting a pay rise or getting promoted. Right, so you've got to treat yourself as a business. Like those people out there, there are people out there that work for the same company for 15 years and they get paid the same. They might get a small pay rise due to inflation or whatever it may be, but they generally just plateau for a very long time. Those people are running a very bad business, right? But they don't see it that way. They just go, I'll go on a job, I'm getting paid my hourly rate. But you're right, Mark, like people who go to work, yes, I understand that they're protected, right, here in Australia, obviously, because we live in the best country in the world to be an employee. But in order to move forward and leap beyond average, you have to perform, right? And to perform, you have to invest your time, you have to invest energy, and that's not just in the company you're working for, but that's in yourself. Because the more valuable you become in the marketplace, you go out there and you're this commodity that everybody wants to use, right? Like we've got employees in our businesses, and the more valuable our employees are, the more upskilled they are, the more they get rewarded.
That's right.
They get doors open for them. We provide opportunity for them, right? And that means that person's getting a return on their investment because they've put that investment into themselves, which is then benefiting the company that they're working for.
That's right.
Right? And it's just this trade of time and money. So I truly believe everyone's running a business at the end of the day. Right. But you've got to adopt that mindset. You can't just go, all right, I'm an employee, I'm going to bundy on and just do my hours and then drop everything. No, you've got to think of yourself as a business.
You've got to see the foreseeable future, not just foreseeable, but the future in 10 years' time. You've got to give yourself that plan. Just like we tell our clients we have to plan for 10, 20 years ahead. You don't, for someone that's, say, in their mid-20s, right, you don't plan on, my career will just take me wherever. Like, would you not want to put down at least 5 years and go, right, I need to be here in 5 years. If I'm not, at least I'm on that way then. It's, that job security, will always be there, providing you're aiming to go harder and
You have
harder.
to put the time. You have to put the time and effort in, and I think what's important is recognizing the landscape that we're living in, and the middle class and the working class. It's a very dangerous position to be in because it's comfortable,
Yep.
and I think if you're in a comfortable position, a lot of in this country, you're in a comfortable position. You've got a good base salary. You're all right, you know, but people forget that, and a lot of people I've seen develop some sense of entitlement because they've just become comfortable over the years. But what needs to happen is exactly what you said. You need to treat it like a business. You need to perform. You need to go in there, and it's all about building your personal brand, isn't it? It's about going in there and actually outperforming yourself every single day because you're keeping yourself employed. You need to remain highly employable as you get older. It's very, very important, and people just fail to realise that, I think.
So we're living in an interesting time now where, you know, we all have access to so many different types of people. So people aren't staying in the one job for very long now because what's happening is they're getting taken up. The good ones are getting taken by competing businesses, right? Mm-hmm. Because we can see what everyone else is doing online, social media, all of those things. So, you know, like for example, we're in the property business. If we come across a really good sales agent who we just see on social media all the time because of the good work he's doing or she's doing, we're gonna want that commodity in our business. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if we can afford it, right, and you know it's a business decision, obviously, we're gonna offer that person a role, right? So, you know, like it's what I'm trying to say. It's a competitive market out there if you're an employee, right? Because everybody knows each other now, right? So it's really important that you become super valuable in what you do and continue to upskill yourself. Continue to bring more value, right? Don't just think of it as a now trade for time. Think of it as a long-term strategy where you're continually trying to better yourself and bring more to the table than expected, because those are the people that are going to get rewarded. Now, one of the things that I want to cover just before I forget is a lot of people call jobs just over broke.
Yeah.
Have you heard that before?
I've never
just
heard of
over
that.
broke, because they're trying to say that you're working for someone, and I don't believe in that. I actually think a job's a good thing. If I could turn back time, I wouldn't go in business. I wouldn't go into business. You know what I would do? I'd get a good job. I'd go to uni and do all of those tertiary studies. I'd get a good job, get a good income, and I'd push all of that income into hard assets such as property, and I'll just continue to do that, right? Because at the moment, banks don't want to look at business owners. They want to look at people with pay-as-you-go pay slips, right? Those are the people that are buying up property at the moment. So, you know, like, and if you've got a skill that you can sell yourself to someone's business, trade your time for money, get that money, push it into hard assets that generate you income and appreciate over time, do that to 10, 15 years, you're doing really, really well, right? This is where I could turn back time again. Instead of going out there, you know, risking everything like I have, having your wealth go up this, and then go like this, and then go like this, and then go like this, and being stressed out nearly every single day. It is so hard, right? Where you could have just got a job. And, you know, like I'm not saying business is a bad thing, because I really think entrepreneurship is one of the best personal development programs you can ever do, because you really, like Jade said, you find yourself. But having a job isn't a bad thing, right? Trading time for money is not a bad thing, as long as you're utilising that money and putting it to good use.
Correct.
Right? I had a meeting today with someone who had $500,000 in his bank account, but not one property. Right? And it's like, man, what are you doing? And he knows he's got to start pushing it into assets, but, you know, like it's a lot of money to have sitting around not in assets. Because he hasn't had that education of, he's got a great job, right? Gets a good income,